What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Blessings, everybody. My name is Rashay, and this is my channel, Chay Unfiltered. If this is your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back to you, fam. Guys, oh my gosh. Let's get into this reunion. There's a lot of things that were said, a lot of things that I need to go over. It was just, interesting to say the least. Now, if this is your first time here, I do have a few other videos on all of the episodes up until this point, so please make sure to go watch those first and then come back and join us here for the reunion video. Other than that, let's get into it. Okay, first, let's get into these reunion looks. Taylor and Garrett looked good. I don't know what this glow up is that's going on with Garrett, but he definitely looks good. And I guess we'll find out if this is, the wifey effect, because I don't know what it is. Some of y'all don't know how to dress prior to meeting your wife, but it's okay. Taylor, love her dress. She looks good, but I feel like she always looks good in whatever she's in. So yeah, that was no surprise there. Ashley and Tyler looked normal. Like, I don't have anything notable there. Ashley's dress was really cute. Looks good on her. I like the little bob cut. It suits her. However, when they walked in holding hands, I already knew she stayed with this man, and I was like, no. But yeah, I guess I should have seen it coming, right? Because like I said, she had her mind made up. Marissa looked good. Not many comments there. However, I'm realizing that this is the first time we've seen her with her hair straight. It's actually really cute. It suits her. So hopefully she keeps doing it. Ramses, I'm not really surprised with his outfit. His fashion choices, as Marissa Mom said, was always questionable. Or like I said in my last video, alternative or whatever. But yeah, he cut off the two little dreads, finally. Because I'm not sure how much I was feeling that, to be honest with you. I think this look suits him a lot better. Hannah girl. Ooh! Hannah, say what you want about Hannah. Hannah looks good. Even though, like, on the show, I didn't think she was that big to begin with, although she said she lost, like, 40 plus pounds prior to that. She looks real good. Real good. So kudos to her. I don't know what she did, what diet, what exercise plan. It may be Ozempic, but we're not going to get into that. But it looked real good. Nick looks normal. Like, again, no notes there. Steven. Woo! Honestly, Steven pissed us off in the season, but I don't know if he's like getting into his blackness, because the man is dressing a lot better than he was before, and he look a lot better than he does before. I like the little glasses, whatever. So I mean, I see you. Do you, Steven? Now I'm gonna loop these two together because I have the exact same comment. Monica and Alex ate down. Okay, those girls looked it good, but Alex specifically, girl, if she was depressed before, honey ain't depressed anymore. She got the short hairdo. She's in red. Like, ooh, this is a revenge body and a revenge outfit right now, and I'm loving it. And Tim looked basic, just like his personality, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, Nick and Vanessa are not my favorite, but one thing I will say, if there's one thing Vanessa's gonna do, is dress nice. Okay, I liked her dress. It was a cute color. It looked good on her. Every reunion she dresses really nice. So if she's gonna do one thing, it's gonna be dress nice. So
we can get tattoos of all the chemistry we felt watching this season.
You could, Nick. The chemistry.
It's too late. I can't. You're right.
The chemistry fund is only good if it's used periodically.
we've just started, and you're already coming with the corny jokes. I need them to replace Nick and Vanessa. I'm getting so tired of the two of them. But I'm more interested in them asking proper questions this reunion, because I feel like aside from a few different things, they asked some good questions and I got the answers that I needed. I'm glad they started off by talking to Garrett and Taylor, because that's about to be the only TV time they get this damn reunion. So I'm glad they talked to them first, got it out the way, and moved right on to Ashley and Tyler, who is who we wanted to talk about anyways. We need to know what's going on, Ashley, because you're still with this man, so we need to know what's going on.
Into the story, I did help a friend, and her wife start a family, but her wife ended up leaving her and left her high and dry. This was my very close friend. So I voluntarily stepped in and helped.
After all this time, you still haven't learned from everything going around online or from your time in the pods. Just tell us exactly what the situation is with the kids. You're still downplaying them. I helped a family to have kids, of course I'm around, or all of that stuff. Okay, so are we going to talk about the baby mama literally getting up in here and telling us all the information in the terms of you guys had sex to have the twins? That's one. And two, the ex-wife spilled all the tea about what actually happened. You pushed her out of being in the kids' lives. Like, I need you to speak on that part, sir. None of this, like, high-level crap that you've been doing since the pods. Like, we need the real information.
But I do want to let people know Ashley knows all this. This is news to the world. This has never been news to us. And I'm giving this explanation now because I feel like the world is waiting for it. But I don't owe anyone an explanation but my wife.
You claim Ashley knows all of this. Does she know all of it? Because I guarantee you, if Ashley knew every nitty-gritty detail of what we've been hearing, and again, yes, we have to take what we hear online with a grain of salt, but I don't believe that everybody would get up on this internet and bold-faced lie on you if they know that, like, it's not true and it could be proven wrong. But I don't know. I feel like if she knew all the nitty gritty of what we heard, she wouldn't still be with you. So what exactly have you divulged to her for her to be comfortable enough to still be with you? That's it. And tell her, stop crying. We don't care. I'm so tired of his fake tears. It really pisses me off. I don't know. I just don't have sympathy for him. Y'all can have sympathy for him, but I don't. I will say I definitely love that they clarified that a lot of what we saw on the camera, which again, I know this stuff, but a lot of what we saw on camera was not exactly the full extent of the conversation that they had, because Ashley's whole thing is like, my intuition. And I'm just like, so how did you not see blatant red flags of this man telling you he doesn't think those kids look like him? Like, he was clearly lying. Like, I could see that through the screen. But to find out that whole conversation was essentially fabricated for them to lie on camera or for the cameras, that makes like a ton of more sense to me. So that wasn't really it kind of just clarified the whole situation for me. So I love that they came out and was, clear about that. Because we know Netflix could be messy. From all previous reunions, we know that they keep their footage in the back burner, so then when somebody's talking and it's not adding up, they will show us that clip because they're messy. But yeah.
What's going on today? Current? Today? Like, what's happening with you now, AD? No, I'm just having a good time.
One thing I would love for them to stop doing is giving the people in the audience, so previous cast members, all of that, such an opportunity to talk. We are here to talk about the season 7 people and all of their messiness. I don't care about, I'm sorry, like, I have nothing against Zach or Bliss or AD, Marshall, all of them. I have nothing against them, but like, I don't really care to know where you guys are at or what's going on, because your seasons have been well and done and gone. I'm here to focus on the seasons that's here. And last season, season 6's reunion, they spent so much time on them that we didn't get enough out of the cast. So like, please just focus on who was on stage. That's what we're here to talk about. Okay, we move on to Marissa and Ramses. Marissa's mom. Bro, I feel like she's trying so hard in her entire soul to not get up on the stage and just slap Ramses. And you know what? If she was to do that, I wouldn't even blame her, because all the man did was get up on here on our screens and waste our time this entire season. If you didn't want to marry this girl, you should have just said so. Wasted our time. But I was so interested to be like, okay, so mama, did you cut off his balls like you said you were going to? Or like, what happened? We want to know.
There was one day where I think it just really hit home for me. And I realized and recognized that if I move forward with Marissa, every day I would be in a place where I would feel exhausted and overwhelmed.
Ramses, you just said a whole lot of, and nothing justifies anything. And for you to get up here and say that basically the pinpoint and making your decision on not moving forward was the big difference in your guys' energy level. And I'm going to say this again. I noticed that. I said it was going to be a problem because people always, like Marissa said, people love my energy in the beginning and then they get tired of it. While I understand where he's coming from, if he noticed that and he knew that it was going to affect him later on, no point in getting married and wasting her time like he has already done. But damn, you gonna get up in this girl's face and tell her this in front of everybody that basically her energy being too much is why you decided not to marry her? Yikes.
And she was upset. And of course, I'd do anything for her. So I did go up there and speak to him, even though I wanted to punch him in the throat. And
when they panned to Marissa's mom, I was like, ooh, she finna go off. But I feel a sentiment, girl. I would want to punch him in his throat too, because you literally said, don't hurt my daughter. And he proceeded to do the exact same thing you told him not to do. And trust me, I have experience with me telling someone not to hurt somebody and they did it. And, but she made a very good point that if he had doubts, he should have just said that from jump instead of stringing her along and waiting till the last minute where she thought everything would have been fine to then tell her, because you basically broke her heart. And he really did do that. And I was saying, like, you could tell that you were not going to marry her. You had this existential crisis every time you guys had a disagreement or a conversation that like rubbed you the wrong way. So just be honest with what you're feeling and tell her you don't want to get married. Like I said, it was giving I don't want to be married again. So just say that. Although I'll put some of the onus on Marissa because he showed you with a lot of his actions sometimes that he probably doesn't want to marry you. And it's like you wanted him to marry you so bad. And back to this begging business. Stop begging. You wanted him to marry you so bad that you just had a blinder on for half of the stuff that he was showing you physically with his body cues and stuff. Y'all gotta learn to read body cues. I'm sorry. You can't just take what people say to you at face value. You have to look at their demeanor, their body cues, all of that.
We had a conversation about multiple methods. It was a very nuanced conversation. We arrived at sort of a solution that worked best for us. And it wasn't a situation where I was just being whiny and bratty and like, oh, I don't want to use a condom.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you there. You were definitely being whiny and bratty, sir. Absolutely not. Like, you definitely were being whiny and bratty about the fact that she didn't want to go on birth control and the fact that you would have to wear a condom if you wanted to proceed to continue having sex with her. So don't make it seem like, of course, we didn't see your full conversation. I don't know what agreement you guys came to, but in that moment and in that conversation, at least what we were shown, you were complaining about the fact that you potentially would have to wear a condom. So yes, you're being very whiny and bratty and not acting like a grown man and the progressive man that you portray to us to be. So let's not get up in here and lie, Ramses. I think outside of Ashley and Tyler, the couple I was the most interested to see, or I would say one of the other couples I was most interested to see how they interact at the reunion was Hannah and Nick. I like that Hannah could take accountability for that. Yes, you can be direct, but sometimes how you say things is really, really important. And yeah, she's a very direct person. I can be a very direct and blunt person as well, but I also know how to not be rude when I'm saying it or have it come off a certain way. And that's one thing about being very self-aware, which she claims to be, but I don't really think she was that self-aware until now. She might be going back and watching the show, but I'm glad that she took accountability for how it sounded.
Nick demonstrated a lot of patience that I never would have had. So I'm very impressed by that, and I knew he was a good dude, but yeah, I was definitely impressed by his patience throughout the whole thing. So
I love that Garrett stood up for Nick and said some stuff, because to be honest with you, Nick don't know how to stand up for himself, because even in her saying, yeah, I know I could be blunt, and them asking him, how do you feel? He's still there talking about, oh, well, I didn't expect anything less. She is who she is. You know, I still respect her. And so, like, even now, you're still not having a backbone and standing up for yourself. So I'm glad Garrett said something. But of course, Hannah has the face on her. Like, girl, you're not perfect and people are going to call you out on your shit. So don't, this whole like making faces now proves why people think that you are what you are, which is a capital B. Hello. Although I'm happy that she apologized to him, because the entire time she was talking, I was like, so Hannah, are we just going to keep talking about the fact that you're direct, or are you just going to apologize to the guy for treating him the way that you did? Like, I'm glad that she apologized at the end, but she could have got to that apology a little bit sooner. And I love that she's, figuring it out. But one thing I'm going to need you guys all to do is start figuring things out before you go on these shows. It's like we are on season 7, and I'm sure there's going to be several more seasons. Why are we still not mentally preparing ourselves before going on a show like this? Yes, all of your insecurities come out, stuff like that, but you've seen so many people go through this in previous seasons, and they're going to therapy after the fact. That's not doing nothing for how you treated somebody in a situation, or where you were back then. Like, I need you guys to prepare yourselves, already be maybe in therapy, whatever, before you do a show like this, so that you can show up and be your best self, and then don't have to sit here and backtrack and explain to us years later why you reacted the way you did and try to have to apologize for evil things that you do. Like, we should be able to prepare ourselves for this at this point. And this is why they say it's very important to find yourself before you go into a relationship. Learn to love yourself before you expect anybody else to love you. And I feel like a lot of people don't take that sentiment seriously, and they do an experiment like this, and then because they lack what they need within themselves and their self-worth, they take it out on other people, and then they just come off looking like a horrible person.
There's 3 entries. So one goes, he wants to sell 2 homes this year. Okay. He wants to be in the best shape of his life the next 2 weeks. And then the third bullet point, which was by far the most interesting, was that he wants to be the most famous person ever on Love is Blind.
Now, Nick, I can't defend you, sir. There's no way that you left that notebook out for her to find and thought that she wasn't going to think that you're not here for something real. It's giving Trevor, it's giving Sarah Ann and Jeremy, like, it's giving all of that. His explanation, I honestly zoned out when he was talking about his explanation, because I'm like, no, nothing you say right now is going to really make us believe you. I do feel like he probably went into the relationship a little bit naive, in terms of like, yeah, I'm going to be the biggest person on like Love is Blind, get famous from there, meaning more so maybe getting like followers, because you guys can see after doing the show, everybody gets influx in new followers. But I think when he got into the experiment, I really do think he started to develop feelings for Hannah and wasn't really there for fame anymore. But it could also prove why he went into the pods putting on Mr. Suave persona, because he wanted to look good on TV.
Well, like, I hear that he's saying like stuff after the video, like calling me like your grenade and calling me ugly, and all these people are saying that he's saying all these things behind my back. But then when he gets on camera, he's like, Hannah's just so amazing and everything she does is so perfect. And it's like, no, it's not.
Ooh, Nick, not you talking about Hannah behind her back. Now I'm questioning whether I should feel sorry for you or not, because yes, she was mean to you throughout the entirety of the season and the experiment, and kept bringing up the height and all of that stuff. Now I don't know if she was just joking with those stuff, or there was like some truth as to why she kept picking at him, because I don't know at what point she had these conversations with people to know what he was saying behind her back, but not calling her a grenade. What is this, Jersey Shore?
I'm gonna sit here and
That's
like,
not true.
come on.
That's not true.
Francis.
I talked to you about it.
You talked to Steven about it, and Steven talked to me about it.
I didn't
You
talk
have to
to
be
Steven
honest.
about it.
You did. You said
Not the pillow talk.
Bruh, the pillow talk is crazy. This is where you guys get caught. Now, not by any means am I going to sit here and say, like, don't tell your friends things, so they're just going to tell their significant other. But you do have to know to some degree that, like, they may share certain things with their significant other. And this is an experiment. Yeah, you build a bond with these guys, but they're not your best friends. You've just met them in this experience. I'm not surprised that they told their fiancés, like, what you were saying about yours, because everybody's like, ooh, trying to be the best couple of the season. And if they're going to talk about the other couples and how they think everybody else is doing, it's not surprising that they would bring up things that you're saying behind the girl's back. But AD's reaction is literally the exact reaction I had. This girl said, not the pillow talk. That's exactly what I said. And there was not 1 ounce of hesitation from Steven. This man said, yeah, that happened. Nick, find yourself some new friends, please. Please. These guys are not down for you.
If there's any moment to take accountability for anything, it's right now. Like, everybody messes up, everybody says things that maybe you regret, but let's keep it 100, man. Like, things were said.
The first thing that Ramses says that I actually agree with, because this man be just be talking bare nonsense out of his mouth majority of the time. But yeah, Nick, take accountability. It's not that hard. Whether you want to feel like it happened the way that they're recalling it or not, you take accountability for your part. And if you said what you said, own up to that and say it with your chest. I've been saying that this whole season. Say things with your chest. Stop saying it and then acting like you didn't say it in the background. That is the biggest pet peeve of mine.
I mean, I have to ask Hannah, are there weight in those words? Or I know we've been past this. I know we've talked about this to exhaustion, and I love you. I love you, Marissa, so much. But I have to ask. I didn't anticipate that.
I'm glad we got to talk about this because I said it. Katie's supposed to be your best friend in the whole wide world, but you can't have a conversation to her about the insecurities you're feeling about what she said to you, which just goes to show is you were just trying to throw it in there in the conversation to make it a big deal to Nick, because even Katie said it, you don't trust me, that made me feel a type of way for you to say you don't trust me. And Hannah's like, oh, I just threw it in there. See, that just shows you just talk to talk. But one thing I agree is with Marissa's mom, she made you suffer for a year. Facts, that's not your friend. Fam, that's not your friend. You need to cut her off ASAP.
Leo and Brittany.
Brittany looks super good. It was given trophy wife. She looked good on the arm. But Leo, not this thing. Why did I know he was going to do that? I guess it's his trademark now, but oh boy, please stop.
Leo, I'm just going to go right into it. You had a lot of conversations in the pods, but in watching it back, did you ever realize how often you spoke about money?
I know, it seemed like I really couldn't shut up about it.
Yes, Vanessa, because all this man talked about was money. I don't want someone who only wants me for my money, but I'm not going to stop talking about my money. Sir, let's be so for real right now. It was nice to get the guy's perspective of what Leo actually is like outside of the pods and kind of when he's interacting with them. But Tim, bro, you talk in circles. I think you repeated yourself 3 times. He's a high level thinker. Yeah, we get it. We get it. Shut up now. I'm sorry. I just don't like him. So the least amount of TV time they can give him, the better for me. It's great that he acknowledged he need to make a decision and that the way he treated both of them in the pods, even though it wasn't equally treated, he berated Hannah, whereas Brittany kind of just strung her along. Either way, he didn't treat them the best and he kind of messed up their experience in that sense. So I'm glad that he took accountability for that stuff because people have a hard time taking accountability.
I actually understand what you're saying, but I think that women probably don't want to be associated with being steak or pasta.
I'm all right with being associated with meat, apparently. So,
Steven, we'll get to you.
We'll get to you in a minute, buddy. I know you're getting a little antsy over there.
Steven, shut up. Just shut up. You look so much better when your mouth is like this. I'm sorry. You just had to chime in on the meat thing. It was annoying and it was weird during the season. I don't need you to make me relive all of that right now. And did you guys see the girls' faces? Oh my god. That was my exact reaction. One thing I will give the people on this stage or in the audience, they're given exactly what I'm given. So it's we're on the same page here.
But I wasn't uncomfortable with him. I know there's a lot of talk about him kissing me and touching me, but he was the most comforting part of that moment.
Brittany, girl, I do not believe for 1 second that man made you feel comfortable and that it was just you're trying to save face. You're not trying to look bad. Let's be for real. You didn't like him. You were scared of him. It was weird. You wanted to be away from that entire situation. And saying that they did know that they weren't going to go to Mexico doesn't surprise me. I don't think they wanted to go to Mexico. And I also think Brittany wanted a free trip to Miami. So she got what she wanted. Case closed. Was Monica pissing everyone else off? Because okay, you don't believe a thing he says, but let the man talk. Let him say what he was saying. You will have your opportunity to talk. You just constantly cut him off and want to be right about everything. And this is the problem I had in your guys' entire relationship. And, you're right, which is what he continues to do throughout this reunion too. No, just let the man talk and then we will get to you.
Into a girl's DMs, and your reaction was surprising in the sense of, I'm so sorry, thank you for sharing that. but it was an interesting, in hindsight, red flag. Do you think, looking now at the situation, that maybe you had rose-colored glasses and maybe you ignored some of these?
Yes, thank you, Vanessa. Monica had rose-colored glasses, and I was saying this. The man showed you who he was from the beginning. He told you about his previous cheating and that it was emotional cheating and all of that stuff. And you gave him all this grace. Oh, it's fine. Da, 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 you're too hard on yourself. But then when it happens to you, look at your reaction. That's what your reaction should have been when he told you. And you just wanted somebody to propose to you and get married. So don't act like you didn't have rose-colored glasses on. I'm glad we finally got to have this conversation about the fight that happened in Mexico. But I'm curious to know, like, whose side do you guys really believe? Because on one hand, Alex's explanation makes it seem like it wasn't that serious, so I don't know how it would have escalated to such a big fight. But I do also understand Tim's side. Like, this is my fiance. I don't know what's going on with her. I see her on the floor crying. Like, I'm going to try to go and help her out. So, but I don't believe that if she did say give me my space, that he gave her space, and maybe that's why it escalated, because he seems like a very, like, I need an answer and I need to answer right now type of person, and wouldn't even give her the time to, like, process, even though he also likes his space. Like, I don't know. I just don't believe that he was giving her the time she needed.
I was more offended at being called outside of my name.
What did you call him other than his name?
Well, because he was disrespecting me for like over an hour. I said, you're acting like a little ass bitch. And
That's crazy.
Okay, we finally got an insight into what she called him out of his name. And she basically called him what I said I would have called him. But I probably would have called him that in the breakup conversation. Because I don't know how bad it was in Mexico for her to call him that. But in the breakup conversation, he definitely deserved to be called that. Because that's exactly what he was acting like. Like, I don't know. But... he clearly didn't take it very well, because he mentions it a couple of times. I'm being called out of my name. Yeah, we heard you the first time. And I find it hard to believe he didn't call her out her name probably 1 or 2 times.
He said I just showed up like nothing. So
the night before we met your dad?
Can I speak?
You're saying I'm lying and making something up.
Can I speak? Thank you.
Oh, Tim, you don't like when people don't let you speak? Does it feel nice when it's done back to you? But in that whole breakup conversation, you were, can I talk? Am I going to get to talk? But when she gives you back the same energy, you want to be like, oh, whatever, I'm being berated. This is why she called you what she called you, because that's what you be acting like. Like, I don't... their whole fight and conversation was just very interesting to me. It's clear that they haven't talked since that conversation, and Tim acting like he doesn't understand where all her hostility is coming from is ridiculous, because you got on your story and was just calling, saying that this girl was disrespecting you, she wasn't showing you no love, she wasn't giving you no energy, making Alex look bad, when anytime she's done an interview, she's never ever made you look bad. So yeah, that's where all the attitude and hostility is coming from, sir. Don't act surprised. But I'm glad that, like, Nick and Vanessa were like, okay, we're gonna nip this, and you guys need to deal with this on the outside, because we're not gonna get anywhere. Because clearly there's still a lot of feelings. What was the point of Nancy and Marshall being there? Like, again, nothing against them, but what was the point of you guys being there? You talked to them once. We heard a little bit about their story. Why else were they here? For Marshall's facial expressions, because I mean, he's a comedian, and me and him have that in common. And come to find out, me and Marshall actually have the exact same birthday, born the exact same year. It's actually crazy. But yeah, what else was the reason for them being there? That was random. And it's the fact that you guys talked to Taylor's parents all the way at the end of the damn episode. Like, what was the point of them sitting in the audience for so long if you were gonna go and talk to Jessica and Bliss and AD and Marshall and all of that before you even talked to her parents, the parents of the people who were actually on this season? Like, again, I don't understand the order of events, or even why you guys are having so many conversations with people who are not even on this season.
Be away from my family and friends, and to process that, and I wanted to give that to Taylor so bad, and so we tried it. We spent a lot of time away, but it was very difficult for me to go through that, and I ended up sharing that with Taylor. It was difficult.
Garrett, honey, thank you so much for finally speaking up. I knew them moving to San Diego was not going to work, and I knew it was going to come up later on. He's so close to his family. It tore up his family to know that you were moving him to San Diego, all of that stuff. So, like, I'm so happy he finally spoke up and told Taylor how he's feeling. And I love that Taylor's reaction was, you know what, home is where my husband is, so if we need to find somewhere in the middle and all that stuff, like, I'm willing to compromise. I love that, because it seemed like he was trying to compromise so much to be with her, and I didn't see it coming from her side. So I'm glad that, you know, they proved me wrong and that they're working it out.
We had our first ornament that we had.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We went to a cabin, like, you know, one of those little mini getaway cabins. We did that.
Yeah. So that's our thing. We're gonna create a new ornament every year. So we had one last year. We'll do one next year.
Okay, but did you see your kids? I'm sorry. I can't let it go. I really can't let it go, because just hearing what all I hear, I just find it so hard to believe that you just hung out around the kids because you were friends with their mom. Like, I find it hard to believe that you weren't a part of these kids' lives. They weren't calling you daddy. They don't see you as dad. And like, I just really hope that if things come out later, and he continues to like deny them, like, I just feel bad, because I know what it's like to not grow up with my dad. I would hate that for these kids, especially if you took on that parental role and then just dipped out. Like, why bother take it on in the first place? What was the point of them having the season 8 cast in the audience? Like, I like when we get like the reveal, when you reveal them later on, but damn, y'all don't waste no time. February is when the next Love is Blind season is gonna come out. My goodness. But look at that. She said it's the 5-year anniversary. They're already on season 8. They waste no time. That means they're literally filming at least 2 seasons a year. Wow. But yeah, guys, that is the season 7 reunion. There were a lot of notable moments for sure, a lot of cringy moments for sure, like the whole wrap it up joke. Again, Nick, Vanessa, please, I'm sorry. I'm over it. Please stop. You guys are not funny. You're not going to be funny. Move on, okay? These are one of the few reunions where actually the couples that got married are still together, so we will see how that goes, how far they reach, if they stay together in the end. Only time will tell. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if you agree with my commentary, if there's anything that you disagree with, anything that you want to discuss further. You know I like to cut it up in the comments. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell so you know when I drop more videos. And as always, guys, please share the video so it can reach a wider audience. But yeah, guys, that is it. And hopefully I will see you guys all back here for season 8. Bye!